Today's message is going to be a little bit different. We're going to discuss this hot topic of why does the wicked prosper? Why do the ways of the wicked seem to go good? Why do wicked people seem to get everything easy life for them? Ever had that question before? Why do good things happen to bad people? Another way, why does good things happen to bad people and bad things happen to good people? This is some of the questions that we have, but it's not just unique to us. This is questions that people have had all throughout the centuries. And Jeremiah, whom we've been studying for the past several weeks now, months feels like, he had this same question. So I'm going to share with you from Jeremiah chapter 12. It's a conversation between Jeremiah and God. Now, we're going to read over the conversation briefly, but I'm going to expound upon that and tell it more of a story fashion this morning. We're going to expound upon and see what the whole Bible has to say about this subject. Why does the wicked prosper? All right, so if you would, stand with me as we read our primary subject today. We're going to start in verse 1 of chapter 12. Jeremiah starts off the conversation as he prays to the Lord. It says, "You are always righteous, Lord. When I bring a case before you, yet I would speak with you about your justice. Why does the way of the wicked prosper? Why do all the faithless live at ease? You have planted them, and they have taken root. They grow and bear fruit. You are always on their lips, but far from their hearts. Yet you know me, Lord. You see me and test my thoughts about you. Drag them off like sheep to be butchered. Set them apart for your day of slaughter. How long will the land lie parched and the grass in every field be withered? Because those who live in it are wicked. The animals and birds have perished. Moreover, the people are saying, 'He will not see what happens to us.'" And then the Lord answered, If you have raced with men on foot, and they have worn you out, how can you compete with horses? If you stumble in safe country, how will you manage in the thickets of the Jordan? Your relatives, Jeremiah, members of your own family, even they have betrayed you. They have raised a loud cry against you. Do not trust them, though they speak well of you. Father, I do thank you for this word today. I pray that you would speak clearly to me and through me, God. Help me to be your vocal cords this morning, your mouthpiece, your megaphone. God, help me to share what you have in store, not what I think is important, not my opinions, not my thoughts, Father, but yours. You continue to fill me with your peace and your presence in Jesus' name. Amen. You may be seated. All right, so you heard the story from Scripture. Now we're going to revisit that story and kind of put it in more of a modern context for us. And so we're going to expand upon that thought. Why does the wicked prosper? Jeremiah said to the Lord, "God, I know you're righteous, but I got a question about your justice. Why does the wicked prosper? Why do they live at ease? Why do good things happen to bad people and bad things happen to good people? Lord, I'm just so confused about this as I examine all of life. I just need some answers, Lord." And God said to Jeremiah, "Jeremiah, I suppose you're asking this because I told you about the plot of people from your own hometown that want to kill you. And I can understand that you're a little worried about that. Nonetheless, I am glad that you have come to me with your problems. I'm glad that you came to me with your concerns. You recognize, at least intellectually, that I'm sovereign. And nothing happens outside of my power and my care. However, there are a few things that we need to address. Some things that you have brought up that we need to straighten out. So tell me, Jeremiah, why, when you ask me, why does the wicked prosper, what exactly do you mean by wicked? Can you define what wicked is for me?" Well, Jeremiah said, "Well, Lord, you know, You know those people who just do evil, they just do bad stuff. They're just unjust, they're unfair, they rebel against you. You know what I'm talking about. They claim to follow you, but they don't live like it. Others worship idols or simply don't believe in a supreme being at all. I don't even know why you let them live, much less give them prosperity. God asked Jeremiah, Jeremiah, are you sinless? Jeremiah said, well, Lord, no. And God said, so you turned your head and your heart away from me, huh? You claimed to follow me, but chose in that moment to fulfill your own selfish interests. You followed your own lustful desires and chose to sin. So you're a rebel then. So Jeremiah turned his head down and understood what the Lord meant. God continued, Jeremiah, you do realize everyone has sinned. Everyone is wicked. No one does good. Not even one. Everyone, like sheep, have gone astray to their own wicked ways. So, Jeremiah, based on that assessment of people of this world, what do people deserve? And Jeremiah says, death. Everyone deserves death. So God likely asked the question, should I destroy you, Jeremiah? Well, yes, Lord, you should. So why don't you? And God looked at Jeremiah and said, now that is a much better question. You see, the death of your physical body, your physical death is actually part of my justice. Everyone will eventually physically die. However, there are two other aspects of my character that you must wrestle with, my wisdom and my love. You see, I love the people of this world. I love them because they are my prized creation. They are made in my image and my likeness. And you know, Jeremiah, so are you. And I love you. Everyone on this planet is a part of my creation. I made them. I put a soul in them. I put a spirit in them. I made them, fashioned them in my image and my likeness. They are most prized to me. I love them. And I know they have rebelled. But yet I still love them. So God, why did you create us knowing that we would all rebel against you? And God said, I created you for a relationship. I wanted someone that I could love and freely be loved by. And even though I knew the outcome from the beginning, the cost to me was worth the reward. Matter of fact, not only the cost to me and my suffering, but the cost to you and your suffering. I looked at the cost and I compared it to the reward of a relationship, and I saw that the reward was worth the cost. The reward would be a wondrous, everlasting, loving relationship in a heavenly home without sin and without evil. Now, in my wisdom, I fashioned a plan to make this happen, to guarantee that the reward would be granted by saving people from their sins. And matter of fact, I even made this plan before I ever said, let there be light. This was always plan A from the beginning. This was not a contingency plan that we're following through with here. This is always plan A. Matter of fact, Jeremiah, you are a part of that plan. Now that we have established that everyone is wicked and all the people deserve death, I want you to know that there are some that are considered righteous in my sight. No, they didn't earn their righteousness based on their good works or their deeds. No, I declared them righteous. I declared them righteous because of their faith in me. And because of this, I no longer see them as wicked and sinful and rebellious. I see them as my children because of their faith. Their faith, you could say, gave them a new birth. They were regenerated. They were giving new life because of their faith in me. And in fact, Jeremiah, you are one of those that I consider as my child. Your faith in me has saved you from the eternal death of separation from me. So then God asked another question. Now Jeremiah, we have defined what wickedness means, but I need you to answer me this. What exactly do you mean by prosper? We defined wickedness, but can you define prosper for me? What is it? What do you mean when you say, why does the wicked prosper? And Jeremiah looked at the Lord and said, well, I don't know now. You done got me thinking. You got me thinking too much, Lord. The Lord said, no. The big problem with the part of humanity is that they don't think enough. And Jeremiah said, well, I mean that some people just have it easy. They never seem to go through trouble. Everyone seems to like them. They're respected by many people. They got a lot of money. They got a lot of riches. They have nice homes and a good family. And God said, Jeremiah, is that what it means to truly prosper? Let me answer a few things for you. Those wicked people that you speak of, that seem to have life so easy, you're only seeing part of the picture. You don't know what's really happening in their heart. You don't know what's happening in their thoughts. You don't know how empty these people are. You don't know how far they are running from me, how miserable they are in their sin. Why do you think so many of the rich people and so many of these people fall into substance abuse, fall into depression and suicide? It's because they're empty of me. They're searching and trying to fill in this void that they have in their life that only I can fill, but yet they're trying to fill it with all the things of this world and they're left empty. Would you consider that to be a prosperous life, Jeremiah? Well, Lord, I guess I'm a little short-sighted about these things. And the Lord said, yeah, you are. You are a little short-sighted. And you need to trust me because I know the full picture. I see it all. And I alone know how to bring the most good for the least amount of evil. Because true prosperity is found in right relationship with me, both now and forevermore. That's where true prosperity lies, in a relationship, a loving, intimate fellowship with me. Because I alone am the source of all things good. I alone am the source of all things loving. You cannot have a fulfilled life outside of a relationship with me. You can see these people that appear to have it all together and appear to have everything going for them, but really they are empty. They're trying to fill in the gaps in their life, but they're not satisfied. They're not content. They're wandering. They're trying to find a place of hope, but they don't have hope in this world. You don't really even know, Jeremiah, just how intricately involved I am in every aspect of this world. And how much detail I put into people's lives, drawing them to me, pulling them to me every step of the way. You don't even recognize, Jeremiah, how much I care for them, how much I love them. But another promise you need to remember, Jeremiah, about the ways of the wicked. I need you to understand my promises. They operate within my sovereignty, and I will have the final word. I will have the final word. They will not succeed for long in their schemes. If they appear to succeed, it's only for a short time, as I have allowed, to fulfill my good purposes and to bring about the greatest of all possible goods. Because what man intends for evil, look at this, Jeremiah, don't miss it. What man intends for evil, I can use it for good. Do you know anyone else, Jeremiah, that has such power? Ultimately, wickedness will certainly be punished. In Revelation, the last book I wrote, I promised there's a coming day when all will be judged and everything will be made right. True justice will prevail, and anyone not written in my book, the book of life, they will be cast forever away from me, and I will make all things new. Unrepentant people will be permanently punished. Jeremiah said, well, God, how about destroy all these people that are trying to kill me now? That'd make me happy. I don't want to live like this. These people are my own family members. They want to kill me, Lord. Just take them out. I don't want to live like this. And God kind of shook his head and said, Jeremiah, have you not learned anything yet? I feel like Jeremiah sometimes. God said, Jeremiah, let me shoot straight with you. I want to remind you, I know the entire story. I know your entire story from beginning to end. And I know the danger that's lying ahead of you. I know what's coming for you, Jeremiah. I know what's ahead of you. I know the challenges that you're going to be faced. But I need you to know something. Stop complaining. Stop complaining about what you have going on right now, because it doesn't even compare to the troubles that are coming. And if you're struggling, it's like if you're struggling with 5 pounds of pressure on you right now, how in the world are you going to face the 500 pounds that is coming? If you can't handle the little bit, how can you handle the lot that's coming next? If you're struggling walking down a smooth walk path and you keep stumbling and tripping over roots, how in the world are you going to fare climbing up a steep, rugged mountain trail? You're not going to make it, Jeremiah. Not if you don't trust me. If you can't trust me, Jeremiah, with the minor things and the minor threat from your family, how will you fare if an entire nation wants you dead? Because that's what's coming. I need you to trust me now. If you can't trust me in the simple challenges, you're not going to make it when the challenges get hard. Be faithful now, because every trial and every challenge you face is a training ground. It trains your faith. It encourages you. It makes you stronger. Every challenge, every storm you go through is designed to increase your faith, to make you more mature, to make you more dependent upon me, to increase our fellowship and our relationship. Don't you see, Jeremiah? I'm doing this to draw us closer together. But as for your family, don't worry about them. I'll handle. Now, Jeremiah, your complaining has revealed your lack of trust. Your lack of trust in my presence in your life, in my plan for your life, in my power over everything. Your complaining reveals your lack of trust in my provision, in my passion for you, and my promises. Do you trust me, Jeremiah? Do you trust me even when you don't understand it all? Do you trust me even when you don't have the answers you're looking for? Do you trust me? Have I not proven myself trustworthy? If I haven't, then I need you to have another explanation of what I did by sending my son to you. So, church, my question to us is, do we trust him? Do you trust the Lord with every aspect of your life? When things that don't go your way, when things are against you, it seems, when things that you don't understand what's happening, do you trust? Do you trust His power? Do you trust His plan? Do you trust His promises over your life? Do you trust the promises given to us in His Word? Do you trust every aspect of His character? Because I know for me, He has certainly proved Himself trustworthy by dying for me on the cross, by saving my soul. He didn't have to, but He did it because He wanted to. Because He wanted to have a relationship with me, and that was the only way to make it happen, by dying in a sinner's place, taking the punishment that we deserve to satisfy His justice against sin. Have you received Christ as your Lord? I'd like to help you with that today. If you haven't, pray that God forgives you. If I can help you, let me pray with you to guide you through that. If you have received Christ, we can still be like Jeremiah. Amen. We can still find ourselves questioning and complaining, not trusting in the Lord. But God has a message and a plan for us. We only need to trust Him every step of the way. We don't need to know our life's direction from beginning to end. We just need to know our next step and be faithful and obedient to that next step, and then God will show us the one after that. Amen. Let's pray together. Father, do thank you for this day and your message. Thank you for your word. God, I thank you for being so good to us, God. Thank you for your patience with us, and I know I have stressed your patience a time or two in my life. But Father, I thank you for using me, even in spite of my sin, my pride, my selfishness, Lord. And I pray you would continue to use us and draw us closer to you. Help us to trust you. Help us to lean on you and to have the right perspective of things in life, Father, to put on your lenses over our spiritual eyes. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.